We've got one last story that we want to talk about. This is Dave Weigel. There's a reporter named Dave Weigel. That's not him. This Dave Weigel does fixed income security, like investments.
He's a guru. He's a Wall Street guru, Mike.
Right. He's a Wall Street guru, but he also has a child custody case. This is him outside of Ulster County. That is in New York State, Ulster County, New York. And let's hear what he says.
Do this again. This is David Weigel from the Family Court Fraud Warrior Project, sitting here at Ulster County Courthouse, here to support Helen Garber in her farce of an appearance date in trial, to show up for her assault against her 200-pound ex that was contrived and concocted and lied about and colluded by ringleader Elizabeth Faulkner. I just did this live 5 minutes ago, and I can't find it online. So F you, Facebook. We'll keep doing this over and over until it shows up for the people. I just got kicked out, okay? We walked in to the court. There's about 7, 8 of us. And first thing the judge did was make us announce who we were. Everybody else sat there and said their first name, last name, and I'm a supporter. Got to me at the end. I said, Dave Weigel, Family Court Fraud Warrior Project. And then she immediately went into that it's come to the court's attention that there's been reporting on social media. No, not reporting to the press, reporting confidential information on social media. This is how they do it, people, okay? And she sat there and she said how there will be no providing documents to anyone outside this court. Are you out of your fucking mind? What do you think you are? I stood up. I said, how is that legal? How is that legal? You think you're in Russia? You think you're in Russia? And then I said, I am on you. I am on you. And I walked out calmly, and the officers of the court were awesome. They didn't attack me. They didn't tackle me. They even gave me a nod. Right? As I'm walking out, I looked over my shoulder. I said, I'm on your side. And they gave me a nod. And I walked out by myself, quiet as a mouse, slow as possible, little stroll. And I'm absolutely livid sitting here. How do these words come out of this fat pig's mouth? She actually thinks she could get paid by the public and she could have complete confidentiality about her crimes. I want them to try. I want them to try and make Helen Garber pay for our reporting. This will blow up globally, absolutely globally. These people think they are entitled to do whatever they want to us. They're entitled to our kids. They're entitled to just make us a criminal if they decide that, we decide you're a criminal. That's the power that I have. No, you're just a fat pig in a robe. That's all you are, honey. That's all you are. And we're going to make sure that this entire society understands the level of treason you are committing against this country. Dave Weigel, signing off.
It's not treason, but this is
another... Close, Mike. It smacks of treason. It smacks of taking the Constitution and throwing it out. Now, this guy's the first Judge Friedman. He recused afterwards. This is the first article that I did. I talk about the 2024, which laid the foundation of what happens, what's happening now. There's a criminal case against Helen Garber. There's another article coming out. The prime mover in this case, there's a new judge we'll talk about. He hasn't been introduced yet. The next article, he will be. Here's the family court judge that's on top of the whole thing. But the person with the problem is Elizabeth Faulkner. She's the attorney for the husband. And she has been married herself 5 times. She's the Black Widow of Kingston. She goes and she runs through them. She runs through men and takes them for everything that they're worth. And she's a divorce attorney. Okay, so she is really an unsavory character. The thing is that when you're a lawyer, you're not supposed to be having sex with your client. She's done it on at least 2 occasions. While she's the lawyer, has the client, has sex with them, marries them, and then takes everything they have, does the Black Widow, catches them in the clutch.
What is this woman's name?
Elizabeth Faulkner. We're going to have some stuff about her coming up. She's the next big article.
She gets clients, marries clients, divorces clients.
Black Widows them. She Black Widows them. It takes them for what they're worth. She's on her 5th husband right now. But this is what happens here. Well, I showed some of the narrative that Faulkner spun. She began to spin this a couple of years ago, and now it's all kind of coming to fruition and coalescing as something that looks like a criminal case against Helen Garber. It's all bullshit, and we're starting to unwind it from the very beginning. And the next set of articles is going to show how this progressed, that everything that they said during the narrative was not true. So look at the July 10th police report, the official narrative. There was a gun surrender that she handed over her husband's shotgun. They said it was 4:52 p.m. in the late afternoon. It was really 8:30 p.m. Okay. The home, they said it was Garber's home, 183 Horton Lane. No, it was 168 Prospect Street at the neighbor's house. This is the letter from the and I had to blurt out who the person was because she's worried about retaliation, but from the therapist that said that at the time the police report was happening, she was actually at a therapy session with the daughter. We have the video from the cops going to the husband's house. We have all sorts of things showing that this police report was a concocted report that was basically, and we're going to show that was fraudulent, very dishonest report, and that Faulkner has her hand in the whole thing, the Black Widow of Kingston. So this is the entree article, and if you see right here, we have some of the court transcripts. There's vanishing records in court. This happens a lot in family court. Do you hear this a lot from people you talk to, Mike, that for some reason either the recording device or the court stenographer turns off for all the important parts of the hearing? Well, this one, they went out to lunch and they came back and they were out to lunch for another half hour where the cross-examination was supposed to happen. They refer to the cross-examination and then they get the record and there's no cross-examination. You read the highlighted part. Mike.
The court, Ms. Harp, actually, let me ask you this, Ms. Harp. Are you intending to ask any questions? Yes, Your Honor. How much time do you think you need to do that? I'll need about 20 minutes. Can we take our lunch? Certainly. Let's take an hour. We'll resume at 1:45. You may step down, ma'am. Thank you. All right. And then it comes back. Mr. Redder, yes, Your Honor. I have Nicole Paddock, the court, and she's scheduled to come at a particular time. Mr. Redder, she had a graduation in her family, so she wasn't available until 1:30. So I'll contact her and get her in. It will be a short piece. Do you plan on calling a client? Just my client, Judge. In fairness, I don't think that we had any witnesses disclosed until close of business day. The whole thing was done a little rapidly. Ms. Faulkner, Judge, could we have 2 minutes with Your Honor? I'd be happy to do that. We don't need a court reporter, do we? We don't need a court reporter. That's nice.
And look what happened.
Right.
And then there's all this missing testimony, all the cross-examination, all the people they said that they needed. The court reporter disappeared. That's like violates every rule of court transparency, every rule in the court rules in New York State. There's the court reporter right there, Ann Seals. She's mum. She wouldn't actually certify the transcript as true, right? She wouldn't certify it. She refused to say it said was true and accurate. And she wouldn't use the word complete.
Right. So look, as an aside, this business needs to go away. All you need are official audio recordings that courts can do that are probably cheaper.
Like the body cams, Mike. The body cams turn off. You know, those are records. Well,
no, look, I did a lot of work in North Carolina. Almost every hearing has an official audio recording. You don't need court transcript. It's not hard. If they can figure it out in a bumblefuck state like North Carolina, you can figure it out in every state. Get rid of these court reporters. Just do official audio recordings. Put them on disc, whatever you want to do. Then they're available to everyone. That's the official record. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of the issue here. All the exculpatory evidence disappeared from the record. It's manufactured police reports, manufactured testimony, and everybody's complicit in this. You know, and that's the problem. We have a situation like this, and you know, with this Weigel again. But he says, look, this is like a totalitarian country. This is like Russia. It's crazy that this stuff could go on, and it's not justice. Justice has to comply with the appearance of justice. The Supreme Court said that, and in no way, shape, or form is this the appearance of justice. This isn't what people think about when they think about the American justice system and procedural due process, equal justice under the law, and fundamental fairness. This is not it. Okay, and we had also sent Faulkner this email. You can ask her. Read what I asked her. I asked her a few questions.
Did Ms. Faulkner send Judge Schreibman a same-day email forwarding Ms. Garber's sealed petition and urging, quote, an emergency contempt hearing? On what authority may counsel disclose our sealed filing to a judge outside adversarial notice? Does OCA view this as permissible under the rule? AFC, that's the attorney for the child, participation in irregular process. Why did Ms. Harp, the attorney for the child, join the request to accelerate contempt on the same day as the sealed filing, rather than insist on ordinary notice and a neutral evidence-based hearing? What statutory basis did the attorney for the child rely on? Transcript gap. That the June 18, 2024 transcript omits 30 minutes of post-lunch testimony cross that both sides referenced on the record. Why is the reporter's certification not complete? Where is the missing audio log? Will OCA produce the audio capture and the steno's writer's notes to reconcile the record? Witness silenced. 3 defense witnesses were present and not allowed to testify. What procedural rule justified excluding them? while admitting hearsay-driven argument to brand Garber a child abuser. Police report versus evidence. The June 10, 2024 weapon seizure paperwork lists the wrong time, the wrong location, and omits witnesses, yet was cited to support, quote, child trauma claims. Who will explain the time, locations, witness discrepancies? Did the court or counsel communicate with deputies regarding the narrative? Watchdog suppression, courtroom ejection. Observers report the judge announced, quote, there is no First Amendment in this courthouse. This is a closed court, before ejecting citizen watchdog Dave Weigel. On what legal basis were press public barred and a critic removed? Does OCA endorse this policy for family-related proceedings that are otherwise subjected to limited but reviewable closure? Forum shift from Judge Rakoff to Judge Schreibman. Who requested the shift from family court to Supreme Court? Provide the written order and findings supporting the transfer and vacate of the temporary order of protection. What case assignment rule or emergency protocol applies? Remedies, corrections. Will the court correct the transcript, reopen the record, or schedule a de novo evidentiary hearing with witnesses under oath? Will OC audit this case for ex parte record integrity and public access? Before you explain further, de novo evidentiary hearing, what does that mean?
De novo means from the new or from the beginning. So start over. They want to do over. De novo is a do-over. And so basically you get that in appellate courts a lot. They review the findings of the lower judge from the start. They do it their own. They do their own do-over from the very beginning. So what this case is, in a nutshell, is this is the first step. And Schreibman did actually recuse himself right after this debacle. And there's another lawyer we're going to get, another judge we're going to get to on that. But it shows the initial like dirtiness. And we're going to show a pattern of 3 or 4 instances up to the present time of dirty dog type proceedings and dirty activity, to say, how can you say that this is a system that has due process and has any fairness in it? How can any criminal charges, because they bring Helen at the end of the story up on criminal charges, criminal contempt and everything else. How can criminal charges be sustained against this woman if the entire proceedings are dirty in and of themselves? So that's what we're going to be showing in this series on Helen Garber.
All right, we'll have that later. And that is the end of the broadcast. Thank you for being here.